Welcome to the Beautiful Game. As always, I am Blake here with Ferris.
Hola.
And the Jingle Jangle Man himself, Ron.
What's happening? Ho, ho, ho.
I'm taking a picture because he's in the dumbest hat I've ever seen. It's the best.
You gotta love it.
It's awesome.
It's one of those, for those of you at home, it is a red and green striped, very tall triangular hat with a wire in it so you can form it into
like
any shape you want.
It's like a 3-foot long hat that you curled into like a little, curly-Q, like a Seuss character.
I only wish it had a bell on it because every time it moved, it would jingle.
It would jingle, yeah. That would be annoying.
The Jingle Jangle Man.
Well, Don't be jealous of my Christmas spirit from China.
It's a holiday time because we've just kicked off the festive fixtures, and everybody's trying to be having fun in a pandemic and trying to celebrate the reality of celebrating the holidays. Like Thanksgiving was like wham wham, and now we're looking at the holidays and and so we've turned to the wonderful world of soccer to make us happy. Well, the two of you because you have something to be happy about. I don't.
Hey, Blake, we just gotta wait and see. There's a lot more.
I still believe I'm I'm so glad your mic just had a internet connection problem. Then, when we get to it all, I still have a wait and see. Doesn't make any less annoying.
I'll wait and see.
I'll go into details.
Well, I'm going to ask you the same thing that I asked you on the last pod, and I wonder if you're going to change your answer this time around.
All right, we'll see. We'll see.
Yep. Okay.
The good news is the holidays do bring Christmas beers, which I think, and holiday beers. I think Ferris and I have holiday beers for this episode.
My second beer is, but I still would like to go first.
Okay, and then Ron, you said holiday beers are not so much a thing where you are.
Yeah, Christmas is kind of a friend and shopping holiday. So, there are lights up and Christmas trees in places and things like that. But it's not, they don't go bananas for
even
it.
Though you've got like a good beer selection from around the world, they're not like important the holiday beers or anything like that. Right.
No, and I've tried. So we have this app/website here in China called Taobao. And you can find the weirdest on this app. If you wanted a corn on the cob pillow, that's a body pillow, you can find it. Right?
I thought it was an app for just beer. And so corn on the cob, I was like,
corn on the cob pillow.
Beer? Like what?
For everything. It is no matter what you want in the world, it is there. You want to buy a hamster? It's on Taobao. You want to buy a puppy? It's on Taobao. You want to buy
Zlatan's DNA?
I mean, I'm sure you could find it. There is some sick, twisted on Taobao. And a lot of the breweries have Taobao stores. So I've gone on there and you can get kegs and 6-packs just ordered and delivered right to your door. No middleman. You just get it, right? But out of the 30 or so breweries that are on there, not one of them has a Christmas beer. So I got the closest thing to a Christmas beer I could find.
Okay. Well, I do have a ton of Christmas beers at the house. So I have a bunch to go through, which, as I was saying before we got on the pod, is dangerous because normally we do our Boxing Day special and go through a ton of high alcohol content beers. So I tried to get 12-ounce bottles of Belgian Christmas ales. Right. I did not go Belgian today, though. Today I'm doing American craft Christmas.
America.
Yeah.
America.
I'll move over but I got some fun German and Belgian stuff for later. But Ferris, you said you want to go your beer first, which is not a holiday beer?
It is not. But it comes with holiday cheer because my holiday beer comes accompanied with a shirt and a Christmas gift for both of you.
I don't know why I'm scared, but you got a look on your face.
I'm slightly, my interest is piqued, and I'm cautiously optimistic.
Gentlemen, last week I went to a local brewery. It is one of my favorites in the area, Tactical Brewing, and they had a double can drop that day. One of the beers had a name that I have to have on this pod. And when I saw the merch available, I was like, I know what Ron and Blake's Christmas gift is.
Uh-oh.
I hope
So you each get a shirt of this that is called the Cuddly Chupacabra beer.
That's fantastic. It's like an adorable chupacabra, like chibi style animation biting into a goat head. That is awesome.
What makes it even better is that it is one of Ron's favorite styles of beer.
Yes.
It is a fruited sour with mango and habanero.
Oh, see, Ron, that sounds good, right?
No, it sounds acidic and sour like nuts.
Refreshing mango and habanero flavor profile with a nice touch of heat at the back. It comes in at only 4.8%, but is the best name probably I have seen in quite a while. And the can art is fantastic.
That's it, Tactical. I wonder if they've got any left. I need
if not, I still have, this is the first of the 4-pack. I did have one of the beers there and the thing, so it was not my first time having it. But I will still review it on the pod. But Blake, I have one or two for you sitting in my fridge.
Oh, I appreciate it. And because I may have still swing by there because I've got a friend that would love this. He's obsessed with the Chupacabra stuff. So I'm like, oh man, that'd be awesome. That's great.
Cuddly Chupacabra. And I'm like, when I saw that, I was like, we had the Chupacabra cup for we have to have, forever. So, gentlemen,
when you said that
Merry Christmas.
When you said it was one of my favorite styles, I was like, oh God, they made it a triple? That's going to be great.
No.
And then you produced the sour. Gross.
Well,
since
the Carabao cup is forever the Chupacabra cup to us, that is very appropriate.
And I figured, you know what? I'm wearing red. I'm mother Santa Claus. Here's some shirts for you.
It's a Man U Christmas.
The can art is
I got a little
cool,
something
though.
for you for Christmas as well. So I do have to get up with you at some point. I guess I can go next because my beer's sitting right. I went with a company that makes another one of our favorite seasonal ales for the Halloween times, and that is Southern Tier Brewing Company. And this is their holiday 2 times Christmas spiced double ale.
Nice. I've seen that. Yeah.
This is, let me read this here for you. Swedish flags are a fairly common sight in our part of the country. Holiday parties often have warm concoctions of spices and booze, and they're ready to knock off the ice off of your toes while raising spirits. We were inspired by Glog Party, deciding on the spot to brew a beer that pays tribute to this Nordic tradition. 2 times Christmas ale from Southern Tier Brewing combines traditional brewing ingredients with figs, orange peels, cardamom, cinnamon, clove, and ginger root. So this should smell like Christmas. It's a holiday tradition that the 2 times line and another reason to toast to the season. But unlike Glog, we recommend serving this one chilled. And it pairs well with blue cheese, sausages, holiday cookies, and pickled herring and fish because it's Norwegian. ABV of 8%, dark and ruby, medium body. I love Southern Tier. They do a bunch of their website's great for just showing all the different individual stats. Spices, flavor is spices balanced with sweet malt, slight hop bitterness. Fermentation is ale yeast, 2 varieties of hops, 4 varieties of malts, figs, orange peels, cardamom, cinnamon, cloves, and ginger. Sounds like Christmas in a bottle.
Love it.
That's awesome.
And I love their pumpkin.
That's
good,
the best Halloween beer.
It's the best, best pumpkin beer, I think, period. So I'm excited to try this. What you got, Mr. Keller?
So I going with the German dark beers from Kaiserdam, a brewery that was founded in 1718.
Good year.
It is a dark lager beer.
Ooh,
there you go. It's
I've had
quite
that.
a tasty one.
It's awesome.
I believe I've had that too.
Yeah.
That is
They
very
actually
good.
carry
Yeah.
that at Total Wine here. It's awesome because at Total Wine, it's like in their section of what do I call this? Beers regular Germans drink, right? It's not like a specialty thing.
Right.
It's like a typical beer
Right.
there. Yeah. It's really good, man.
Yeah, you can get the little mini kegs of it here. So at parties, we constantly have little mini kegs of German beers. Although what's different is the other day we had a roving party. So I live in a hotel here in Beijing, along with a lot of other colleagues, and there's probably about 20 of us that live here in this building. We kind of live like Gossip Girl, where you live in like like the not quite the penthouse, but you have these rooms in these snazzy hotels. So what we did was we did a 12 bars of Christmas. So there were 12 apartments that you could go to, and everybody made drinks and had food, and you just roamed from apartment to apartment.
So full disclosure, because what you're saying right now sounds like a nightmare in America. They have got the COVID situation down pat, because like what you're describing,
no problem here.
I am so jealous of. Ferris, we live 45 minutes from each other, and we're like, I'll try to see at some point, drop off a gift if I can. Like, and you're like,
at your doorstep, and then drive off as if I'm like trying to just steal something from your
hey,
front
I'm
door.
gonna hang out. I'll stop by the quick test place and get a quick rapid test before I come hang out. Yeah, and you're like, we're gonna go bar hop all these 12 apartments and drive.
Yep,
that's
awesome.
China's
the West is just totally screwing up. They should be learning from what Asia as a whole is doing for COVID, but whatever. So we set up 12 different bars in 12 different rooms, and each one had its own kind of theme. There was 70s disco, Christmas, which was tons of fun.
What was your theme?
We had, our theme was a snowman's Christmas.
I am
so we
shocked.
had
I am shocked that it was not either Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, the Bacon Rasp version, or Christmas Vacation. I am shocked that it wasn't one of the two of those.
The hard part is getting decorations for any of those.
I just assumed you'd be dressed up going, a dentist. That's what I just assumed.
if that site you're talking about, Trululia thing, if that has Taobao, way off. If that has corn on the cob pillows, they have to have something from Clark Griswold on there.
So very true. They probably do, and I will have to search. But working on this project, you are basically underwater 14 hours a day, and then you go home, eat, and die. Wake up the next morning and do it all again. So
when you can party, you party.
Yeah. So, and it was more about the food and drinking than it was anything. A bunch of people blowing off steam. But the reason I am telling this gigantic story is because I took this beer, the Kaiserdom Dark Lager, and I made a drink called the Muddy Snowman out of it.
I'm in.
And so I'm going to send you the recipe because it's good.
Oh, well, we can get that beer, so heck yeah.
Yeah, we can.
So
that's awesome.
You put dark chocolate chips in the bottom of your glass. You pour this beer on top. You put in 1 shot of brandy. You put in 1 shot worth of simple syrup, and then whipped cream.
Dude, not even kidding.
Dang.
You have got to type that up when we are done with this immediately and send this to Ferris and I, because when we post this, we'll put that. I'll put that on the blog post so we actually have the recipe in there. The Brutiful Games. Muddy snowman, which sounds like a snowman,
awesome.
But I think the
just
muddy
go.
What's
Just
crazy
go.
is
Don't ask questions.
What's crazy is so once you put the whipped cream in there, you stir it really rapidly, and it looks like a Guinness. It separates, and all of the cream kind of floats to the top.
You don't have to do any more to sell me.
Exactly like Guinness.
Good grief! I'm so in.
It's so good.
Yeah, you got to,
so good.
Yeah, you got to send that, dude. And it's a dark lager, right? So if someone can't necessarily get this, they just need a black lager, right? Dude, that
Yeah,
sounds
a black
good.
lager will work. Even a Schwarzbier will work. Those 3 beers would work.
Oh yeah,
That's
yeah.
awesome.
You got to send that recipe, and we'll now add a. Oh my God, why have we never had a beer recipe? We kept saying that at some point. Well, we had said at one point when we first started this. Well, once we get through all the beers, we'll maybe do some beer cocktails and stuff. And then the world kept coming out with breweries constantly.
It's
So we
never going to stop.
So I mean, every time. I mean, even though to this point. My wife, when she was at Total Wine, it was really funny. This dude's trying to help her. He's like, "Can I help you?" She's like, "Well, I'm just trying to get inspired, looking through some of the Christmas beers for my husband." He's like, "Oh, what's he like?" She was like, "Well, he's into a lot of like different. It's really trying to remember what he hasn't had. That's what's hard." She was like, "So, but I'm just looking at the bottles because usually the Christmas bottles from Belgium they don't really change, so I can tell." And he's like, "Okay, well, like so, like does he like?" And he threw off like it was like some kind of holiday thing from like Miller or something. It was he brought like the worst kind of. She's like, no. He has like a podcast and they do like craft beers and stuff. And she goes, then he came back with like even worse stuff. It's like that was. She's like, no, what are you thinking? Like it was like this lemon like summertime beer. She was like, I need Christmas. She was like, it's the only time I've had a terrible experience there. She's like, I just need you to either tell me if you do or do not have the Guinness holiday beer still in stock. Other than that, just go away. That's all I need to know. Oh, which I do.
So fun.
I'm excited for that Guinness gingerbread stout. Holding on to that one. I'm very excited.
Shall we crack these?
All right,
Let me do
man.
it.
Yeah, dude. I haven't had a Southern Tier beer in a while, so I'm pretty stoked about this. Especially one brewed with.
It's a beer at 10:30 in the morning.
Not a boy.
Well, it's usually Ferris and I doing the morning shift, so there you go.
Exactly.
Yep.
And we've done it at 7 in the morning for you, so like
6:30.
6:30
Hey, I'm not
to be
complaining.
exact.
Yeah, I know.
I'm in no way complaining.
I wasn't either. It just makes me laugh. Like, what'd you do this morning? Well, the laundry. I had a couple of beers.
That's when people look at you sideways. But I guess people don't look at you that way now because so many people are laid off in COVID and all that. Like, why not have a beer at 9 in the morning?
I was gonna say, in this pandemic, like it's like 11 a.m. and you haven't had a beer. Are you okay? Yeah, right.
Right?
Yeah, day drinking is now just normal here.
Yep.
Well, I have had, as I told you guys for the pie store, I've had a wretched cold. So, and I did not feel better until sometime this afternoon. And so I was like just going to do an old Sierra Nevada that I've already had because I didn't want to waste my palate. But finally, the heavens opened up inside my sinuses and I can smell. And so I'm so glad I can drink this beer because, Lord, this smells like Christmas, guys. It is like a fig tree and orange peels just like sitting in like a potpourri bowl.
Yum.
This smells so good.
All right, let's do it.
Cheers. Happy holidays, y'all.
Happy Festive Fixtures.
Happy Christmas.
Oh.
No,
Slap
not.
me in the face and call me Mrs. Claus. Damn, that's good.
So for me, when you said your phone feed cut out when you said blank me in the face and call me Mrs. Claus. Just so you know.
This is this is a beer for lying down and avoiding. No, this beer is it's definitely one that probably wants to be served at like 40 or 50, 45 degrees, a little warmer than it is now. So I'm gonna let this rest as we're chatting. But man, this sucker's good.
I'll tell you what, when you hear fruited sour with mango and habanero and lactose, you really can't do it any better than this. This is
it refreshing?
Lovely, refreshing tasting with a hint of spice. Now, we all like hot stuff. We like trying different hot sauces and all of that. I love to eat hot stuff. I do not like to drink hot stuff.
Yeah.
Any of those like jalapeno margaritas and any of that. No. I can't do that. But I could eat like jalapenos fresh, just boom, boom, boom. So anything spicy wise in a drink, I usually don't like. I don't like Fireball. I don't like that type of stuff. This is definitely a fruited sour. It's not like a seltzer or kind of like the sours that you're used to. It's a little bit thicker than that because of the lactose, and it tastes fantastically refreshingly fruity. With then at the end of it is when you taste that little bit of spice from the habanero. It's fantastic.
Yeah, spicy beers are a bit of a hit and miss for me. Like the chili beers, I don't really care for.
Yeah.
I did have someone.
They
made
just
a-
have to be really well done. Most of the time, they're just trying to burn your face off.
I did have one over the Halloween season. I can't remember the name of the brewery, but it was a pumpkin Mexican hot chocolate. It was like the spicy kind of hot chocolate, but with pumpkin in it. That was
Nice.
very
That
good.
sounds so good. Anything the beers that I've had with Mexican chocolate in it, I have absolutely loved. There is the Belching Beaver in San Diego when I was out there last year had their like famous. It was one of their famous. Was it a porter or was it a stout? I think it was their like famous peanut butter stout. But then they did a special one with Mexican chocolate. Oh man, it was. If I had a growler on hand I could take back, I would have come back with it. It was fantastic.
How's that dark lager there, Mr.
Stout.
Keller?
So I think it is. I mean, just kind of like we said, it's kind of an everyman's beer. It's what you should expect from a dark lager style. This one is a little less malty than you would expect, but it's good. It's not too thick, and at 4.7% ABV, it's pretty much drinking lager.
And it's probably a step down from the Dirty Snowman with chocolate chip and
Dirty Snowman.
whipped cream, or what the hell is it called?
Muddy
Muddy
snowman.
Snowman.
I like Dirty
Muddy
Snowman.
Snowman.
It's a Dirty Snowman. My name's
That
Frosty.
dirty ass snowman.
Hey, let's just keep talking about beer. The Premier League has not been back on, right? I haven't seen any games. We just gonna talk about MLS, right? That's all we're talking about.
We'll eventually get there, but
The Premier League has been on. Yeah, the Arsenal ladies are killing it. I've watched plenty of that.
oh, are they? I'll tell you what, Blake. How about you read the little bit of content there, and you want to start off with the headline, and then read the first thing that we got in line there.
Move, Ferris. Okay. This beer, I'm going to say one more good thing. Beer's tasty. Oh, we got the exclamation point for Ron on the FaceTime. You still there, buddy?
I'm here.
Good. I just want to make sure you can
Hello?
hear this. You're there. Okay, Premier League. It was 6 days. I got you. Yeah. We got you in your hat.
Yep, we still see that thing.
Okay.
So here he goes. With 6 days
You
until
can see it from space.
you can see it from space. Nuke it with Christmas glitter. It's the only way to be sure. With 6 days left until Christmas, we asked 6 questions of the Premier League. So, on the first day of the Festive Fixtures, our true love asks of we. God, I hate you. With only one win in their last 8 Premier League matches, are Arsenal and Mikel Arteta in a good old-fashioned relegation battle now? Well, since Man United has finally fought out of a relegation battle, guess it's only fitting.
The funny thing is, when the last time you guys won was against us back on November 1st, 1-0.
Yep.
And since then, Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang signed a contract and has scored 1 goal since.
2
and
goals.
that just came the other game.
2 goals, 1 own goal.
Where was the other goal? Oh, that's true. You're right. I
I
apologize.
can't believe you
His
didn't
first
call
goal
that.
came from him scoring on his own net.
Yes.
And Blake, I asked you again back during probably that time frame back in November. I asked, "How are you feeling about Arsenal?"
So
Your response was very good. That's still the same response today.
well, that's
And
not
we
the
just
question.
we need to let the plan continue. We need to just get a sense of understand.
Oh, I still stand by one thing I for sure said on there, which is Arsenal needs to shuffle off the last of Wenger's signings. That's not a knock on Wenger, by the way.
They re-signed him. They re-signed Luis to a year deal.
Yeah.
Ron and I sat here last year and went, "Are you kidding me? How do you re-sign him to another deal?"
Well,
you were like, "Oh, well, no, he can defend good. He's a good defender sometimes." And we're like, "No, he's not. He's a Simpson character on stilts."
But that's not a Wenger signing, though.
Yep.
You're right. It was not, but it was still a very poor signing from the previous regime that then Mikel Arteta doubled down on and resigned for another year.
He did double down on that, for sure. I mean, there's a lot of people that don't get – they are being paid a bunch of money. Ozil's not just – he's one of them, but he's not just the one that are so –
Where's he at? You could use him right now.
You would have to imagine. And mind you, the last few times he has played – he might as well not have existed. There must be something on the practice pitch where it's like you can't put this guy out there.
And he could actually play too, because he's actually not suspended from one of like the 6 red cards that you've gotten in the past.
Yeah, a lot of red cards.
But he is honestly, you guys lack creativity in the midfield. Hello, you had a center attacking World Cup winning.
Yeah, so
center
what's up with him,
creative midfielder,
right? I mean, so there has to be something more.
There has to be
that we don't know.
Do you really think that creative Arsenal's biggest problem? I think there's so
besides
much worse.
45-year-old Rob Holding at the back with
David
Rob
Luiz.
Did
give us a brilliant bit the other day when they were playing against Burnley, right? Chris.
No, against Southampton.
Who's Chris Wood play for?
Oh yeah, Burnley. Because then Holding stood next to Chris Wood on the pitch, and a beautiful picture was taken of the two gents shoulder to shoulder, and it said Holding Wood. And it made. Oh, I did not see that. You got to send that to me.
Funny.
I think maybe the Blazers shared that picture, but the two of them are like, it's like I think
that is pretty good.
And they're next to each other. You're like, and the camera guy, you can tell they're like, "Hey, mate, go to me right now, mate. Come on, got him."
You got to send that to me, please. That's great.
Too funny.
Yeah, I'll see if I can find that right now. There must be something. There must be something we don't know with the Ozil thing, because you're right. I mean, just out of laws of attrition, right? He'd end up somewhere. So there must be something, and I'm not insinuating I have a concept of what that would be, but some sort of massive falling. I have no idea. It's terrible. But I'm not sure what the Ozil thing is. Man, Ron's sending his sexy beer pictures already, and by that I mean he just takes really good beer pictures. Mine always like turds. His looks so good. I mean, look,
Arsenal are baffling to me. They're absolutely baffling, and they're very poor right now.
Yeah, and it totally sucks right now in that respect. I still, why can't I think of the Man City's manager's name? Pep. He was asked at a press conference, and he was like, he goes, they would be fools to get rid of Mikel. He's one of the best. He was like, he didn't want to go do what he thought he needed to do, but my fear. So actually, I'll put it this way: instead of, I don't know that I've got an answer. If I do, why am I not getting paid to do it? But my fear is, I still believe in holding on to Mikel Arteta doing this, and that has an asterisk. That's not me saying hold on Mikel Arteta, we will win the league next year, boys. What I mean is, Arsenal's got to start building on something, and my fear is if they say they can Arteta in a month, who are they going to get? They talked about Brandon Rodgers, but then I go, how long until they fire him after a year or two if he can't? I just don't want to get in this position where Arsenal becomes and it's because Arsenal had a head a manager for so long. It was one person. So it feels weird. Right. You know exactly what we're talking about here. I don't want to. I just don't want to go on the manager roller coaster right now because I don't know. The most intriguing name would be Brendan Rodgers out of that. But would he want it right now? I don't know. I mean, I guess the money's right, but
who wants to go to Arsenal?
Well, okay.
Mauricio Pochettino.
But that's the problem, though. What you're saying, Ron, I think it's what is going on. There's a lot of potential. There's a lot of young talent on the team. What is happening when you've got players that seem to really like Mikel Arteta, former his bosses, Pep Guardiola, that really like him? What is happening? You know, you're not playing guys like Ozil.
That doesn't mean everybody likes him. But it doesn't mean he's a good manager.
No.
It doesn't mean he's a good football manager, tactics wise, player personnel wise.
That's not what Pep said. That's what I'm saying. Pep said it out of those exact things. That is what he's good at. But those players are not coming together at all. Like today's passing against Everton, God, they looked abysmal out there. So lethargic, just they were over it. And I'm not sure what's happening with those players.
When I was watching the game midweek against Southampton, which you guys were very lucky, in my opinion, to get a draw because you had 10 good minutes coming out of the half where Aubameyang finally scored on the right net. I was texting a buddy and I said, it looks like you have 11 individuals out there opposed to 11 individuals playing as a team. Because that's what it looks like. It looks like Pepe's in the corner doing his own thing while Nketiah's on the other side trying to do his own thing while midfield doing my own thing, and I'm going to have a foolish red card. It's just there's all of these things going on with Arsenal
you just got a player that's been strange. Pepe was Emery signing that was exciting on paper and has not
what you needed
turned out to be right at all.
You guys signed Willian over the summer. What purpose does he serve for you guys? He doesn't fill a role. He's a glorified sub at this point for roles that you already have in people like Nketiah, Pepe, Lacazette can play out there, as does Aubameyang. You have no pronounced number 9, and you have no true leader on defense. I thought the Partey signing was very, very good from you guys. However, he hasn't been fit. And that may come as a shock, but anybody that pretty much goes to Arsenal, Jack Wilshere, Theo Walcott, Aaron Ramsey, Robin Van Persie, all these guys had injury problems when they got there. So, for me, I think there is something I don't think it falls on the glorified Bond villain of Arteta's feet or on his shoulders, but something with the club. Something with the club is wrong. And I'm seeing that because
that's the feeling I get, that there's something that
we've been through that as well. And it's still that way with us.
Yeah, where people are, obviously you guys are sitting higher in the table, but I definitely see some parallels in the even the Pogba drama, right? This dude's great when he chooses to be. And that whole thing, and and you guys were in a similar boat too, of a popular former player, and do you keep him? Mm-hmm. Do you not? Do you get behind him?
We're still in that, yeah.
And you're still sitting in that boat. And that's the thing, Arsenal. And I think one of the pundits today after the match said this, I'm paraphrasing, watching NBCSN, but he basically said, this sucks. They're terrible right now, but are they in a relegation battle? All this conversation could be for moot. We could look silly for asking it coming out of the holidays and going into the, a month or two from now, you're like, oh, well, they're not remotely going to get relegated. Now we're just having a conversation of, do they get into Europe or not? He was like, could happen with who's on the team. He was like,
could, but you are closer points wise to the bottom 3 than you are to the top 10. You were only 4 points off the bottom 3, and you are 6 points off Wolves in 10. That to me is a little concerning for Arsenal. And that's legitimately why I asked this was, do I think that you're going to end up in the bottom 3 at the end of the year? No, you have too much talent for that to be the case. But could you be fighting just to stay in that area?
Hey, I'll take that. What was the year that Chelsea was like 12th or 13th and they won the league the next year? I'll take that. That'd be fun.
Yeah.
True.
The problem is you're not even close to any sort of transition. You are just stuck in the mud. And I think you have more problems than what most people are talking about. It's easy to blame the manager. And I think he's one piece of the puzzle. Your individual players have no heart. There's no motivation. They, as Ferris was saying, they play as individuals and they look like a high school pickup team where everybody thinks they know how to play the best.
Well, and
then you have sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, and you mentioned he's only one part, and I would agree saying you could say a lot of these things from the last couple of years of Wenger through Emery, through Arteta. So I think that there is something rotten in the state of Denmark.
Right.
There's something at Arsenal that's beyond
is it the board?
The next thing is the front office and the board.
Yeah.
Right? You've had problems with them since before Wenger left.
Well, Wenger couldn't get him to spend any money. It drove him bananas. I mean, he was the king of like making, for the longest time, he was really good at making cheap moves that turned out to be very good investments. But they like started to rely on that even when the footballing world was changing, going, nah, you got to start throwing some money at people. You're not going to get them. That was his big frustration the last few years.
And you said very famously on a podcast one time, burn it down. And that's what you need to do. You need the club needs new direction by managers and board members and owners who have a desire.
Owns it and he sucks. And that's a big problem.
There's no desire to improve your football team as a whole. And I don't say that because I know anything. I say that by the deeds and actions of the board, of what's publicized by the board and the ownership office. Nobody there is doing anything to make Arsenal Football Club even half decent. And that filters down from them to Arteta, to the players, right? It's very easy for the players. Should we care if they don't care? I'm still making money, especially for the older players like Willian, who's like, well, I'm probably going to retire soon anyway, right? So they just collect a paycheck a little bit more, they get to play, and then they bolt. Now, granted, that's a cynical view of the footballing process. I understand that, but Arsenal has been this way for years. So this is just a culmination of all the terrible choices, inaction, and lack of any heart or motivation for the club.
Terrible choices, I think, is an interesting point from you. Because I kind of want to spin off on that for a second. Do I think people don't have a desire to want to make this club as good as it was in the early 2000s? I think the desires, it's a wanted desire. But I think the decisions to get that wanted desire have just been poor. You can even go back to, let's move out of Highbury to the new stadium. You lost a crucial part of what it is that made your club one of the best in the world in the early 2000s was that fan experience that felt like you were on top of the pitch. People feared going there. Now it's a teched out museum that's costing you millions that you have to repay for. So now you can't put it back into the pocket of the team to buy necessary players for the team. You're trying to get Willian on a free. You're trying to do this on a free. You're trying to spend under 500 or $50 million, and you're getting players that you don't need. And there's a lack of bad decisions
See, when
there.
you get players
Why
like
do you
that
need
that
to get
you
a
don't
Willian?
need, it makes it sound like to me that you're going, here's what I need, and they come back with you going, well, here's the money you have. Well, I need.
Right.
Well,
but
also,
I can't get these players.
Also,
in.
it smacks of an office who is trying to put their finger in the leak of a dam, and every time they do that, more open. So they just try desperate dumps to make the club better instead of the club as a whole from the outside and fixing the actual problems. That's just
and
looking at it from the outside.
Yeah, and everybody's an Arsenal fan. They all hate Kroenke. No one likes Kroenke. Fans of the NFL don't like Kroenke.
Which again, from a Manchester United fan point of view, we can relate to with the Glazers. However, one thing the Glazers have not been shy on, and we may have a pile of debt to show from it, but we also rank top 3 in the world game of what it is we make every year. And I can say I feel like we can say I'm an official member of the club, and I'm stalking them. So off, I'm going to say we.
Well, I looked that up for Ron and I, and we could buy stock of our respective clubs, but it is on this crazy elite couple of different stock exchanges to do it, and the shares are like SpaceX high and beyond. Like they're like $4 or $5 grand a share or whatever. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did a lot of research on that, and I was like, you know what? This is really not worth it. The only reason to own stock in it, from a layman's standpoint, right? We're not millionaires. So from a layman's standpoint, the only reason to own stock in it is not because you think you're going to make any money off of it.
No.
It's just to say, I own stock in a team I like.
Yep.
And vote for the board.
Yeah.
Because I can vote for Ed Woodward to be out, which I did. He was the only one that I voted to be off the board.
Well, for sure, they would never open this up to for people to purchase at Arsenal because Kroenke would be gone in a heartbeat. And that drum beat, and Ron, that might just be that is probably it. Because there's a common denominator for those last 4 Arsene Wenger years to now. The drum beat for Kroenke and the sort of lack of dedication to being a winning club. Even the frustration of yes, it's really great. We get the money to go to the Champions League, but God, it feels like you're like, it's cool. That's cool. That's all we need. And I think that cost them. I think going back to then is what's still costing you now. Because for elite players that wanted to win something, don't go to Arsenal if you want to win a Premier League championship. You'll get to the Champions League.
Therefore, if you sack Arteta, which I think is a mistake, if you sack Arteta, who are you going to get? Big Sam's taken.
No, and that's the thing. Well, the board
Mauricio Pochettino makes the quick switch over.
The leak on the board.
He's not coming back.
But
why would he go to Arsenal?
There was somebody talking out of turn from the board meeting saying that a couple people on the board were screaming, you need to fire Mikel Arteta now and offer a good chunk of money to Brendan Rodgers. And I think that's just punting your problem down the road a little bit longer.
Well, and the reason I say Pochettino, I say it slightly tongue-in-cheek, but also look what he did with Tottenham in bringing in those young players, cultivating them, and bringing them maybe not to the final piece enough to get in the top 4 of the, to get to the finals in the Champions League or anything. But look what he did in bringing along Kane, Ali, Bale. You can kind of go through a list of names, and I don't know. I think Bale might have been gone by the time he got there, but you can go Harry Winks and so on and so forth. So he may be able to do that to a Maitland-Niles and Nketiah, Asaka.
But it's still a Band-Aid. It's just a Band-Aid covering the bigger problem.
I don't think if you bring in him, it is, because I do think he can help build that young talent, which is what you might need to then start to get back into the top 4, to start to generate funds coming in by winning, another FA Cup and top 4 and being in the biggest league in the world. that's where I think he, in all seriousness, could do well for Arsenal.
I'm trying to make myself happier, so I've just sent you to the photo of Rob Holding and Chris Wood.
Holding Wood. Oh my God, that is brilliant.
It's so
that is absolutely
brilliant. Back. That's so
I love it.
It was the best thing of the day. Yeah, that's where I'm at. I'm still at, yes, Mikel Arteta is potentially good for Arsenal, but Arsenal is potentially bad for Mikel Arteta. I won't think I'd put it. Yeah, that is how I'd put it. I think he's great for Arsenal. I don't know if Arsenal's good for him. I think Mikel Arteta is a guy that could get canned from a club like Arsenal and turn around and go, say they canned him, took Brendan Rodgers, and Leicester just was like, crap, we'll take Mikel Arteta. He's liable to do way better with them than Brendan Rodgers could ever do dealing with the situation at Arsenal.
I don't know why Brendan Rodgers would take an 11th place drop.
Also,
he's doing great at Leicester. What the hell would he go to Arsenal for?
Leicester is fighting to win the league right now.
Yeah.
Like, no.
Why would he leave?
No, look, is Liverpool skirted ahead? Yes. But Liverpool, Everton, Tottenham, and Leicester, it would not shock me if that top four stays exactly that way. I think Man City and Man United have just enough slips here and there. I could see that top four being very similar.
Well, let's take it to the next question then.
Just between...
Ron's damn hat has changed shape like 4 times in this conversation.
I know, right?
Weird man.
You love it. Between 8th place and 2nd place is only 4 points. So all of those teams are in striking distance of being in the top 4. That is a very tight-knit group. You drop one game and you've gone from 2nd to 8th. So I can't possibly see Brendan Rodgers deciding I'm going to jump from Leicester and I'm going to go to Arsenal.
No, if you were going to do it, you'd say not this season, buddy. Let me finish out and try to get this club into the Champions League and raise my stock and get more money. Like if you were going to go, but also Brendan Rodgers is also, okay, forget about trying to win the league. He also is like, he could be coaching the Champions League next year very easily.
Right.
I don't think he will, but yeah.
Oh, I disagree. Who do you think's going to get up there? Man, you give it up, dude. It ain't happening.
Let's move along, and I'm sure we'll get there.
Number 2. Oh, I felt like VH1 countdown just then. Can Liverpool hang on to win 2 Premier League trophies in as many years? I think yes, not as gloriously as the previous year as far as stats are concerned. But boy, did today's game just show everybody on that club can score. And I don't see many other better on the lists. That's my vote.
Yeah, for a bit of a rocky start in their, I don't know, first maybe 8 matches?
Yeah.
Maybe 8 matches. Man, they've certainly shown the Liverpool of
a 17 goal differential right now. Jeez.
Yeah. Although the thing you have
7 of it was from today, though.
But dude, still
7 of it was from today. Yeah.
The question that you have to ask though is Liverpool has they drew to Brighton, drew to Fulham. You got to wonder, where are they still drunk from last season where they're like, oh, these teams are pushovers, so we don't have to try as hard?
I think
because also they lost on match day 4 of the UEFA Champions League. They lost to Atalanta and got blanked.
I say that you're correct. And I think when I made my predictions for the beginning of the season, I said I call Liverpool again, but they're going to have that thing where it's the second year. So it's not as definitive. It's not as, the hunger may come, but it'll come late. So I agree. Also, that also means teams like Fulham come at you hard because you were the previous champion. So some of those games get more difficult. But I agree, Ron, that there is an edge of that, but I still think they're better than Everton, Tottenham, Leicester, Southampton, Man City, and Man United, and Chelsea, West Ham, and the Wolves, if we should go to the top 10. I think on any day they could beat any one of those clubs. It's not going to be by a massive amount of points this year, and it may come down to the last
unless you're Crystal Palace,
2 or 3 games. Last 2 or 3 games, but I think they can do it again. Like I said, just not as gloriously, but I think they can do it.
I'm going to kind of answer 2 and 3.
Well, you're wearing a Man U jersey right now, so anything you said about Liverpool is very suspect.
Okay. Okay. I don't think Liverpool can break down teams as easy as they have, because I think teams no longer want to play with them and are going to pack it in and do what they can on the counter or the penalty side of things and others. I mean, just look at Fulham last week. They should have demolished them, and they drew 1-1 to the 17th club. So I don't think Liverpool can break them down as potent. Now, they may be starting to get under the wheels with, like, you know, Mane and Firmino and Salah starting to score again, but I still think that Van Dijk miss is huge for them. I know they're just getting back Trent Alexander-Arnold and Robertson, and that is a massive, massive help. But there's going to be games where you wish you had Van Dijk, and those are the games where I think they could get caught out. The team that I think can get to first is Tottenham. I said it a few weeks back, and I'll say it again. They lost to Liverpool the other day. That's at Liverpool with fans there when nobody else in the country can have fans. Don't even get me started on that tangent. But I think when it comes back to that second game, Mourinho will take that game, and it'll be during a more crucial time of points.
It'll be a 0-0 bus parking. What are you talking about? It's Mourinho. 0-0 bus parking.
His second year, he always wins something. And I think that he has the strongest team that he's had in years, whether that be at Manchester United or Chelsea. Maybe not the Inter Milan days, but
he does.
He has a very strong team.
But it's still Spurs. And what I mean by that is it is wild to follow the commentary on Twitter about the Spurs. The fans on their previous, let's see, was it their last? What was their previous game?
Against Liverpool.
What was the score? I'm trying to pull up their list of scores.
2-1.
2-1.
Oh yeah. The very final, Liverpool squeezed that game out. That was fun. All the fans are on Twitter going, here we go again. Harry Kane bottling up another championship for us. We're not going to see a trophy again, and it's all going to be because of Harry Kane. And they're just laying into him.
Brutal.
Because they just expect that there is a level of success that they rightfully on paper should get, but will have, quote unquote, Harry Kane screw it up for them because he can't finish. I mean, even they feel like that's the case. They're not even like, we're going to take the league this year. As a matter of fact, for as good as you just said they are on paper, the fans are like, cool, we beat Arsenal, but Harry Kane's already screwed it up. We won't win the league. They're already prepping for it, man.
The only way that Harry Kane will screw it up is if he gets injured, which he has in the past. But you lose those. There's only one other person, I think, that, or maybe two other people that have scored goals in the Premier League other than Son and Kane for that team. That's a bit worrisome, but not too different from what Liverpool's done with the production of Firmino, Salah, and Mane. So it's just three, it's just two opposed to three. But I also think Tottenham's defense has to continue to stay fit as much. I think the signing of Højbjerg for Tottenham was a big signing because that is a midfield presence that they have lacked. And he's been very well and played every minute, if I'm not mistaken.
Should I just go ahead and say then we didn't actually say your third question, which was at the current moment, because we're kind of getting there. Tottenham are sitting in number 3 spot in the table. Can they finish the number 1 spot when the season ends?
Yes, I think they can. I think it's going to be difficult, and I think it's going to. We've all kind of said it already. If you can keep your 2 main goal scorers healthy, I think you can do it. If you have any injury in the back, I think it sinks you. So you've got to keep them absolutely healthy, because their defense, while they're good and they are the kind of bend but don't break kind of defense, if you injure any of them, your depth is not all that great. If Dyer or Alderweireld, if either of them get injured, it's a gigantic hole in the back line, because Tottenham's not deep enough to fix that.
Yeah, I guess that's where I feel like this is no knocking the club. That situation is where I feel like it's going to be hard to finish out toward the end, to keep that going. If everyone stays healthy, yes. If Mourinho can keep from pissing people off, yes. I just don't know, man.
It's been done before, though. I mean, look at Liverpool last year. Everybody stayed fit.
Yeah, but no one says that's so Liverpool-y. They say that's so Spursy. We know what that means.
Yeah. True.
Your next one here, can Chelsea make it to the top 4 despite defender Kurt Zouma being tied for Chelsea's top scorer in the Premier League, along with big money striker Timo Werner on 4 goals? Werner is going to light the world up for Chelsea. It might be, you think it'd be like Christian Pulisic thing? It'll be next season?
No. I've been hoping, and I've started Werner in my past like 3 FanDuel, and he's done absolutely squat. And the reason why I think he's doing squat, he's not playing down the center. Frank Lampard wants to play him off on the little left wing. The dude's a goal scorer. I get it. You're giving a little bit of like loyalty to Giroud, and he's had 2 goals since his 4-goal game in the Champions League. But Giroud is not. Giroud's what you toss on.
Don't you
as a sub nowadays?
Don't you diss the greatest lumbersexual to ever play the game?
That man can still.
Did you see his
Don't get me wrong.
Interview with his hair? I'm like, what do you got in there, man? It's like not a hair out of place.
It's perfect. I know. And
it's like Johnny Bravo.
He almost is too pretty to play. Keep his ass on the bench until about the 80th when you need to huff the ball up and score a goal. But I think he changes the system more than what Frank Lampard thinks. Like Frank Lampard wants to play this 4-3-3 with Giroud at the point of it, but it's not really a 4-3-3 because you're playing with Havertz, who's a center attacking wing, off to the right, and Werner, who's a striker by nature, off to the left. And now we're playing like a 4-3-2-1 with this point of this gorgeous man playing up front.
And he's
so
not
you're not really playing it.
He's not that type of center attack. You know,
he correct. Well, but what Chelsea needs is the Timo Werner who gets in behind, who will make the runs. And that's not Giroud. Giroud will hold the ball up. He will open up channels for you, and he will finish clinically in the box. I'm not knocking Giroud. I'm just saying it changes their style of play, and that's not helping Timo Werner. And when your defender is your joint top goal scorer with 4 at this point, that's a little worrisome. Now, maybe Timo Werner has not been looking good as of late, but I think it's partly because of what I have been saying, that he's not being played in his most prolific position.
Right. The other interesting thing is that you have 3 players who should all be playing that striker location. And 2 of them are better than Giroud, in my opinion. Havertz is better than Giroud in that, and Tammy Abraham is better than Giroud in that position.
At this point in time, yes.
And I don't understand what it is with Chelsea and the past few managers enjoying playing players out of their, what I'll say, home position, right? Havertz I'm happy that he's put N'Golo Kante in that center, but I think we should be playing more like the 4-4-2 in some respects. Havertz and Kante should be in the center of that midfield, letting them fly up and down and cover each other. Kante can be a little more defensive. Havertz can be more offensive. That solves a ton of problems in the midfield and some of the back line issues that we've had. No one's protecting them, right? Get Giroud out and put him on the bench. He's a great player to come in later. You swap Werner and Tammy Abraham for those, depending on the teams you're playing. It's just, from the outside, it seems so simple. You have all these players that are phenomenal. You're playing them out of their position. And while they are having some success, there looks like complete confusion the rest of the time. We lost a 90 plus 5 minute goal to Wolves on a 3-pass counterattack, and it was a pedestrian strike on goal. And the guy was never pressured once. I think it was Neto from the Wolves. In the 90 plus 5th, he just walks to the corner and sends from outside the box. He sends a bouncing low power strike and it scores because everyone is confused on what is happening.
Now,
Christian Pulisic, sorry, go ahead.
No,
I
go
could
ahead.
rant forever. Go ahead.
That all being said, I think we all said this, but I know that I did. I said originally the top 6 should be crazy, but probably the top 8 will be. Because your question, Ferris, is could Chelsea make the top 4? And despite some of these concerns you're talking about, Ron, Timo Werner, he could find his spot in January. So Chelsea in 8th, Man United 7th currently, Man City 6th, Southampton 5th, Leicester 4th, Tottenham 3rd, Everton 2nd, and then Liverpool 1. Man, Chelsea is in a group of teams below, I would say, Liverpool, maybe below Tottenham. They could fall in any of those spots in between from 3rd to 8th. Because you could pick apart a lot of different things on the other clubs that are above Chelsea right now, too.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know, man. Pardon me.
Yeah, that's
I
what
think you guys could still.
That's what I was saying earlier. There's only 4 points separating 8th and 2nd. So,
and again,
a lot of these
flawless teams like last year's, Man Cities and Liverpool's are like, they're it. We don't have that boat right now.
Agreed. Chelsea's definitely got some things they've got to fix. It's crazy in a week that you can go from 3rd place down to 5th place, down to 8th place because of how tight everything is. And to be honest, all in all, I think that makes it for a way more fun season.
Oh, dude, without a doubt.
100%.
Other than Arsenal for me, yes, it makes a ton of fun. And actually, the question, I'll do a 4.5 question. Ferris has 6 questions here. But 4.5 of this top 8 that we're talking about, though, about Southampton. Can they stay in a top 6 position?
You know what? I hope so. I like watching Southampton.
Can they be like Sheffield from last year, even though Sheffield
James Ward-Prowse is just such a magician in midfield. And you're having like Charlie Adams and Theo's even starting to play well for them. You have Vestergaard at the back. Like they're a fun team. I really hope they can. I don't know if I don't know if they will be able to sustain a top 6 finish with all of those teams around them. I think if anything, they do at the behest of like a Everton or a Esther, because I think that they're a better team than either of those two teams. But it's going to be tough because of exactly what Ron's saying. 1 or 2 games and you're first to 10th. It's just how fast you can go up and down the table.
Yeah, and Southampton has, I don't know, they have a tricky schedule coming up. They have Fulham, then just after Christmas or on New Year's, they have Southampton.
Guys, we talked about Arsenal too much. I'm apologizing. I'm going to crack another beer open right now.
I'm finishing up mine, and I'm going to do the same.
Leicester. So then they have, toward the end of January, they have Leeds United, the team that no one can count on to be good or bad.
You're so true. Like, I mean, on fire or on ice. Like, flip a coin. Dude.
And we play them tomorrow.
Flip a coin. Yeah, I'm going for my second. I'm not doing a new beer. I'm going for another one of these Southern Tier Christmas ales. I think, you know what it is? My body's like, you finally don't feel sick. Get another beer. I've had all this good beer sitting around my house, and for 3 or 4 days, I've stared at the bottles going, God, I just want to feel good enough to have one of those. And now I'm like, yeah, boy.
As soon as we finish this Premier League, I'm going to get myself another one, but I will actually be doing the holiday one.
Oh, right. Well, if I make it to a third, that'll be a new one for me. I'll talk about that one. It could happen if we talk about Arsenal again.
All right, so the answer in brief, yes. Chelsea can make the top 4. But a lot of things need to happen in order for them to do that within the club, right? So, yes, I think it is possible. And I don't care who scores the goals as long as they score the goals. A goal is a goal.
I think they'll finish just outside in 5th. But I think it's just too much turnover this year. You're dealing with some injuries and like a Ziyech now and that sort of thing that I think it's going to take a little bit for Frank to get the wheels right. But I don't think you do anything with him and just kind of work through the season this year.
All I want for Christmas is a healthy Christian Pulisic.
True.
Yeah, boy,
very, very good point. He's also been dealing with a lot of injuries.
But boy, when he is on fire, foreign American players have been doing really good in the last few weekends, though.
Yes.
Yeah. He has that spirit for Chelsea that Chris Mueller has for Orlando City. He gets on the pitch when he's healthy, and he steps up the energy for the entire team.
Yes. He is technically a better decision maker and more clinical with his all of that. But I can see where you're going with that. Speaking of which, from Chris Mueller with
energy standpoint.
Yes. Chris Mueller on his United States national team debut, 2 goals and 2 assists or an assist.
Yeah.
Like real quick. I'm like, dang, you go, Chris. Anyways, back to Premier League and moving along.
So number 5, you didn't write these as Christmas songs, but I maybe want to sing them.
No, because I've done that in the past, and it gets old after a while. So
I mean, it doesn't for me trying to figure out how to do them. It's like its own test. Buddy. 5 teams currently have 2 wins or less so far in the Premier League: Brighton, Fulham, Burnley, West Brom, and Sheffield. Thankfully, Arsenal's not on that list. Who you got going down at this point?
Short and easy, I will go West Brom, Sheffield, and Fulham.
Man, what happened to Sheffield?
Teams figured them out. The whole center backings with the overlapping runs, teams are like, fine, do that. We'll just sit in. They won't do anything against us. Before, it was like, what the f*** are these big guys doing out on the wings? What the f*** are they doing up in the box? Oh, my God, they're scoring goals. Oh, my God, we're down 2-0. Yeah. Now teams have done a little bit of scouting. They understand the new team that came up, and they're just sitting back, defending well, not doing anything fancy.
They didn't figure anything out.
No, they haven't changed at all.
Sheffield hasn't changed. They're the one-trick pony.
Yeah, it's just like you got to put in Billy Sharp, for Christ's sakes. Let him score you some goals. He's 3,700 years old, but who gives a shit? You can at least put the ball in the back of the net. It's better than anybody else you got going on right there.
So I screamed your name out loud the other day, Ferris, because a friend and I are playing FIFA on my Nintendo Switch, and we have a Chelsea league. Chelsea season started, and we lost a 89th minute goal to Billy Sharp.
Love it. Love it.
And I was like, Ferris, you
Love it. Love it.
That's awesome.
So who do you guys are
FIFA.
as of right now to those teams?
I got the brand new Xbox too. I need to get the new FIFA
Do
game
you?
for that. Yeah, man.
Damn,
Got a surprise
that's
from the
awesome.
wife. She totally surprised me with an early Christmas
that's
present.
awesome.
Yeah, I don't know how she got it. I had been trying since it came out, and they were always sold out. She was.
Yeah, I haven't gotten one yet. I'm not looking at it, but yeah. Wow.
But yeah, and FIFA looks awesome on it.
Oh, I bet.
Wait, did you say who you were going down for you, Ron? Did you get
No,
this?
I think it's Burnley, West Brom, and Sheffield.
I'm gonna go on an outlier here. I love when we do these because I don't even remember who we said in our own picks. I don't think
Oh, I
any of
got
us.
it. Don't worry.
I don't think any of us picked Sheffield, though. I will say that. I don't
think any of us did.
I'm gonna go and say Brighton Hove, West Brom, and Sheffield. Brighton Hove has been in a relegation battle for 2 years running now, and it is hard to keep. Seeing as how they're still at that little edge, this could be the one that breaks them. So I'll go Brighton Hove.
It could be. It could be.
I think they're not as.
They just seem a little bit more organized with a little bit more goal scoring prowess. The injury or suspension to Adam Lallana as of late is going to hurt them, but that's a pretty rough bottom five right now, and almost any one of those teams, unless they turn things around real quick.
Ferris, it's a rough bottom six.
Yeah, they're going to be in some trouble.
Don't leave out Arsenal.
Moving on.
Leeds, though, has been like, I picked up their striker, and then they got a little quiet on the score.
Bamford?
Yeah. Got a little quiet for me.
He scored the other day, though. He got one.
So I did add Salah, literally 2 days ago, and captained him. That was a good call for the weekend for me.
Very good call from you. Yes, it was.
So number 6, with 6 come from behind wins after conceding the first goal so far, can Manchester United continue to pull out wins to make it back in the Champions League spots? So it's wild because literally this is okay, I'm about to say something that sounds a little John Madden-y, I realize. At 6 games, if you had actually scored one less goal, you'd be in the same boat as Arsenal. Like, obviously, you scored the goal, so you won. But there were all these games that, like, you were going to lose or draw at best. And then you came through and won, and teams that put you on your back foot fast. Yeah, Man United's season could look really different. Just 3 of those games being losses right now.
Yeah, and there's only been 12 games played. So that's half of the games United's had to come from behind to win, and they only have 7 wins. So there was only one of those that we didn't have to come from behind from a first goal. It is a stressful way for fans to be playing this game, but also at some point, you're going to come up against teams that you're not going to be able to recover from, like a Liverpool, like a Tottenham, right? I mean, you're just not like a lot of the front half teams you're not going to be able to do that with. Yeah, we did against Southampton. Yeah, we did against West Ham, but sooner or later that gets tiring and it's not going to work. And I think United have enough talent to get in the top 4, and I think we will. It is still a very rocky time at the club with being knocked out in the Champions League after a very bright start to the group matches, to being blown out by Tottenham a month or 2 back. Yeah, we were down in man for a lot of that, but even with them, we weren't going to stop them at that point. It's to going down this goal and then having to amp ourselves up for the second half or make this substitutional change that changes the game. It's just very, very weird right now. And if Ole Gunnar Solskjaer still has a job, as of January 1st,
You will.
I would still, I would probably be surprised because
Really?
for me, the only thing he hasn't shown is his tactical knowledge of how to set this team up. And it's cost us in games. And it's the reason why we've been behind in some of these games. And then he's had to throw subs at the problem like Bruno or Rashford to get us out of this hole. It's playing Dean Henderson away on a Champions League night in Istanbul for his first start for the club for the year. Why would you do that to this kid? It's like having Dean Henderson played for Sheffield, so you know what? Let's give him the start against Sheffield, and why not? And then he bumbles a ball into the back of the goal within 15 minutes. Like, the dude's going to be a good, he's going to be a good keeper for us, and he'll probably be the number one for years to come. But you got to be smart in how you're setting this team up from a tactical side. You can't just throw subs at it every time. You got to change the formation. You got to do something that is wise to the game that's being played. Every now and again, he gets it right. Like, he got it right against City, where he set them up, and they were fine. But
I said this as a joke to you last time, but really, I mean, I was trying to get a rise out of you, but I still think it's the case. I don't think he'll be canned by January because I think you'll keep having these games that you should not be behind, that you manage to win, and it's going to limp him through for you.
Right now it has been, yeah.
And I think that you could end the season and you go, oh, right at the end, we managed to squeeze in the sixth and we got into Europe, or we squeezed in the fourth right at the end and we got into the Champions League. And he keeps his job. And I'm not even saying, I mean, this is kind of like the Mikel Arteta thing, like, that's bad. I don't know, man, because there's also something going on at Man United too. There's some player issues. That Pogba thing is becoming the crap his manager is saying.
Well, that's his agent. I don't.
Sure, but like it still does give.
He had a post saying he gives it all for the club and he wants to be there. He's played well when he's come on as a sub in the start he got the other day, and I think that is a little troublesome, but there hasn't been any point where Pogba has gone where his agent or him haven't been
new star. That's the kind of crap we would sign. We'll get rid of Ozil, and then we would totally snatch up.
You could use him. You could use the creativity and his passing acumen. You 100%.
And his pain in the assness.
And his awesome haircuts. Don't forget that. It would fit right in at Arsenal.
Well, kudos to you, Ferris. I like these 6 days leading to Christmas questions.
Hold on. I have one more question for the United talk. In your past 6 games, you've given up 11 goals.
Oof.
Why are you hemorrhaging goals so badly?
I mean, we're still a plus, what are we, +3 in the league.
You're +3, yeah.
We have, I don't think we have bad defenders. I think Maguire can play an amazing game, right? Against Man City, he played amazing. But then against like a West Ham or an Istanbul or even Sheffield to that extent, he'll turn off from time to time, make a dumb play. I like the combo of Lindelof and Maguire back there. I like our backs. I like Bissaka. Bissaka, for me, can turn off, and he does so much running that he relies so much on his recovery tackling to stop it, but he's not necessarily positionally sound when it comes to that role. Tellez is a good signing. Shaw, I think, is good. I think
De Gea is starting to slip. A lot of goals to hemorrhage for.
I think De Gea is starting to slip. Yes, I think De Gea is starting to slip.
Yes,
and with the center backs turning off from time to time, and there's no real protection for them in front of them, you have a combo of either Matic, who doesn't have the legs, to McTominay, who doesn't always get the start, to Fred, who might be sent off. You just don't really have a consistent protector in the front there. But I think that they'll come good and get enough and score, mainly score enough to get themselves back into the top four.
We shall see.
It's a weird,
gentlemen.
It's a weird season. I mean, we knew it was going to be, and it has panned out to be so. It's fun seeing some fans in the crowd. It was 2,000 people there at the Everton and Arsenal match, I believe.
Yeah.
So it's just weird. It's just weird.
And before we move on, I'm going to crack a New Belgium accumulation.
Ooh, accumulation. I always look forward to that every year. Their white Indian pale ale.
Correct.
So this moves us on over to America, where the MLS done wrapped up, y'all.
Yes. So
that they did.
It's difficult to follow the MLS here in China a little bit. You really have to go out of your way to do it.
Don't worry, the MLS makes it hard sometimes in America as well.
Just head over to MLSSoccersSSS.com.
Just go over to MajorLeagueSoccer.com.
And if you do it through the app, you'll get through quickly and efficiently. It'll be great. Don't worry.
Yeah, the app blows. So the question is, after Orlando City left and be honest, after Orlando City left in the first round of the playoffs, did you give a solid at all until maybe the final match?
100% yes. I did not give two after that, especially after everything we went through. But in the final game, I was rooting for Columbus to win.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to get it in the East and the whole save the crew. I thought, I wanted to
with everything that had gone with the crew, to save the crew, that's a pretty cool story. One of the first, they have the first soccer only specific stadium the MLS ever had was Columbus.
I believe they were, which I was at a few years back and watched a Columbus and Union game there. Like a 1-1 draw or something, yeah.
So cool.
The Happy Stadium, as it's called now.
Yeah, cool for Columbus Crew to get that. Yeah, Ron, and you know what? That's a problem, and it's hard for me to put my finger on it because I like soccer in general, right? I mean, but yet, I went to that first playoff game with Ferris, and that was a ton of fun. I mean, it was
crazy, the craziest game,
the craziest MLS game there's ever been, which was, worth being at.
The craziest you'll see in a long time.
I celebrated winning 4 times. I forget. I lost count.
Yeah. Win, not win.
Where I saw referees call a game as over, even though it was tied, and just what a mess.
It was absolutely catastrophe.
That being said, as Ferris and I were leaving the stadium, I had doubts that we would win our second playoff game, which we did not, just based on that we were going to be losing 2 players to red cards. That we fought as hard as we had to fight against an NYCFC team that was not great, I didn't think. And I just was worried about our longevity. And that pretty much panned out in the following game.
And even then, in the following game, we were there. We did it to ourselves.
Yeah.
By stupid challenge to Nanny missing that penalty. Had he made that, we could have gone into extra time and been in the same. Like, we were in the game, which tells me what the coaching staff is doing. It's organizing this team very well, and we have talent out there.
Yeah. Look, here's no doubt.
We don't have the experience to play in some of these big games and to control the heightened energy and the heightened senses.
As an Orlando fan, still super happy. This dude took the club that's pretty much still the team he inherited and made them play night and day better. Right? Yep. I mean, so, yeah. I'm fine there. I just, coming off the first win, I had doubts we'd win the second one. It was going
to be, yeah.
But that being said, Ron, to your point, it fell off my radar so hard as soon as Orlando was out of the MLS playoffs, and it shouldn't. I should want
Right.
to, and we kind of
There's
talked
no
about this
other
before.
sports league that I follow that I'm invested in where
I
if
like
my
the
team
scheduling of how
falls
they
off,
did it with the bracket style now. But what I don't like is the final was played on a college football Saturday
Yes.
when it could have been played on a nothing happening Friday, the day before.
Yeah,
I'm glad it was on Big Fox. I'm glad a lot of those playoff games were on Big Fox, and I get that you're kind of restricted to various things right now with COVID and the scheduling of where teams have to play and where they're all at and time frame and all of that. But one day earlier on a Friday night when you don't have to compete with
but also this isn't
big
just
time
this
college
year.
games that are
Yeah, it's every
on
year.
and having to like
It's not just
it was just
this year,
weird.
though.
Like thankfully, I went to watch a friend of the pod, Tony Smith and the Myth and his band play at a Claremont Brewing actually, and thankfully they had the game on along with a bunch, and we enjoyed some awesome tunes by them. But had I not been there, I've been flipping back and forth and just trying to find where it was actually at. You know, it's that game could have stood alone on its own.
I just don't. This isn't the only year that MLS has just completely fallen off the radar. What is it about this league that makes it so that it just falls off? Every other sports league I follow, even if my team's not doing well or is kicked out, I'm still watching it. But the MLS, it just falls off completely.
Well, I mean, for one thing, they still just are not covered by the news and sports media at all, really. I was shocked when after a Premier League match today that the regular sports cut on and talked about a game that just ended. And I was like, oh, wow, I'm surprised at that. But, I mean, MLS still struggling, I think, for some kind of space to be talked about. I don't know, man. The game is growing. MLS is growing. But there's something missing, and I can't put my finger on it.
I know more people that talk about it the way I do than are diehard fans and watch all the games.
Yes.
So many people are like, oh yeah, so and so New England was out and I stopped watching.
Yeah. Whereas I know more friends who are fans of an English Premier League that's not even their own country who will watch any of it.
Right.
Comparatively.
So what's the difference?
Is it the quality of play?
I don't know. It's probably a combination of things, but I still can't. I've just noticed that year after year after year, as soon as the team that I'm or teams that I'm invested in are no longer in it, I don't pay attention. And it's not just this year. I pay more attention to Serie A and the Ligas than I pay attention to MLS when my team is out.
Yeah, no, I agree. Whereas, like on the NFL, if my team drops out, I'm still probably going to catch some playoffs or the news at least leading into the Super Bowl or something. You know what I mean? Like, we got you back there, Ferris?
Yeah, I'm back.
Can you hear us both?
Yep, I hear you both, and I can see you both. It was weird. I couldn't see Ron. I couldn't hear Ron, and it didn't occur to me until I saw you, Blake, reacting as if Ron was talking, and I'm like, so I'm the only one that can't hear.
But yeah, I don't know what it is, man. I don't know what it is about the MLS that doesn't grab me as an overall. I mean, I know there are times that I go to see an MLS game, whether live or on TV, and go, oof, it's a little hard to watch compared to just watching a Bundesliga game that morning. And it's not fair. It's not a fair comparison. Granted, compared like the average price that a player's getting in the Bundesliga to an average player in the MLS. Yeah, there's a little something about it. I'm not sure what it is. And maybe we'd feel different if we lived in a different market than where we are right now. But There is a
Still awesome for the crew, and glad they won. And it was a 3-0 win against Seattle.
Yeah,
I mean, holy
definitive,
crap.
man. Yeah. None of us picked the crew, right? I'm pretty positive. No.
Well, funny you said that. I wasn't even sure with the weird season that we had if we even did picks for it. And sure enough, we did. So we had the winner of the East and West, and who won the Shield out of that? Blake, you had the Red Bulls winning the East and Seattle winning the West. Ron and I both had DC United winning the East. I had LAFC winning the West, and Ron had Seattle winning the West. None of us are right. The Philadelphia Union won the East on a whopping 47 points. Yes, lower than the years before,
That's
because
so
obviously it
wild,
was less
too.
games and weird, yeah.
Yeah.
And Sporting KC won the West on 39 points. The Red Bulls finished in 6th, so they did make the playoffs on 32 points. DC United finished in 12th, so Ron, we were way off. But a lot changed
were
at
we.
the time that we made that pick.
Yes.
Seattle finished in second in the West on 39 points, and LAFC finished in 7th on 32 points. We then went to the MVP. Blake, you had Joseph Martinez. I don't think he ever came back from his injury this year. So
Nope.
Yeah.
That was the end of that.
Yep.
And that was the first match, right?
Actually, do we even know?
That was last year. Or that was the last season.
Yeah. Has there been any update?
I'd have to look. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, Atlanta United did get finally another new coach. The old Argentina coach. I have to look him up, but remember they had an interim in when names are hard right now. But anyways, I had Luciano Acosta from DC United MVP. I think he left the club shortly thereafter and is playing in Argentina or someplace now. And then Ron had Jordan Morris, which is not a bad shout, and he had himself a very, very, very good year. However, the actual MVP was Alejandro Pozuela, Toronto FC playmaker, ended joint top with 10 assists while also putting in 9 goals. I think the leading goal scorer was at LAFC, whatever. Not Vea, but the other one out there for him. But and then we also had the biggest team to miss the playoffs, and I actually got this one right. I had Atlanta United, and they finished well outside of not well outside. They were a bit in it, but they finished outside of the 8 teams to make the playoff in the East. Blake, you had Portland Timbers. They ended up finishing 3rd in the West. And Ron, you had NYCFC. They ended up finishing 5th in the East. So finally got one right, and it's against Atlanta. Hell yeah. And then who will win the championship? Blake, you had Sporting KC. I had DC United. They didn't even make the damn playoffs. And Ron, you had LAFC. Both Sporting KC and LAFC got knocked out in either of their first games in the playoffs. Sporting KC actually got upset at the time. They got upset by Minnesota United, if I'm not mistaken. And the team to actually win it, the Columbus Crew.
And good on them. Save the crew.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Now, Ferris, did you see the Ferris-specific MLS news?
Ferris-specific MLS news? No, I don't think I did.
That was as Latan's manager saying it was a waste of time to send him to L.A.
Oh, I did see that.
And he said maybe, what did he say? I gotta find it. It's so great. I had thought Zlatan said it, but I think it was
it was his agent. Well, I think he has the same agent as Pogba, which shows you what a dipstick he is.
But he said something about his MLS time, and it just cracked me up because he also said something about how Zlatan, if he's going to change, maybe he becomes president of FIFA or something, then he'll change soccer forever. But he threw out something about Zlatan, like running things.
Zlatan scored one of his most famous goals ever playing in the MLS. He helped to reignite the game here. People wanted to see him. Like, I don't think it was a waste of time.
What a perfect manager for a guy like Zlatan to have. Ibrahimovic's agent, Mino Raiola, or Raiola.
Mino, yeah, he's a
credits
dipstick.
himself for the star's success. Reveals big MLS regret. Says going to MLS was a waste of time. but I'm trying to find the quote about how he thinks he could change soccer and all. But I was like, could you imagine if Zlatan became the friggin' president of FIFA? What is this man talking about? He credits himself with Ibrahimovic's dominance on the field, insisting that he created the former Swede striker. He plays because I make him play, says the agent, while also claiming the AC Milan superstar has the capability to play football until the age of 50, although symbolically. He better watch out as Latan's going to jump kick him. Ibrahimovic's behavior on the field and on social media suggests he would be a difficult person to work with, but Raiola denies the perception, insisting that a former Barcelona superstar is like family to him. It is not as tough as he makes it look.
Yeah. So the quote that I have here from what website is this? AS Football is, I regretted bringing him to the MLS if it was a waste of time there. In the future, he will take an important role. Maybe he can become president of the UEFA in order to change football.
That's what it was.
We have a beautiful relationship, but that's the way it is for everyone. They are a part of my family. With Zlatan, we had unique adventures. It's not as tough as he looks.
President of UEFA. And now I feel like he's thrown that out. That's like his way of throwing a gauntlet to Zlatan. Like, this is your next step, by the way, once you're done playing.
Can you imagine Zlatan as the head of UEFA? God, that'd be funny.
I still love his quote about the coronavirus and mask stuff. Like,
yeah, that's great.
The coronavirus caught me. Or whatever. Oh, jeez. But you are not Zlatan, so wear a mask.
Right.
Brilliant.
Oh, jeez. Oh, man, I love that man.
Oh, I do too.
So that's another MLS season in the books, and a very strange one that saw the MLS's back cup, which only sort of counted to the season, but was the season. And we still had an MLS Cup, so there were 2 trophies handed out this year.
Almost didn't have a supporter shield, but then we ended up having it
and
after
there were 0.5 points.
The Soccer World Riot. It's just weird.
0.25 points. By the way, I'm just cracking up because I found that quote again of him, his PSA. The virus challenged me and I won, but you are not Zlatan. Do not challenge the virus. Wear a mask. I freaking, oh God.
This is great.
I
love him.
I want him to just write a book that's like, it's like Confucius sayings, but it's just Zlatan saying things like that.
Yes, love it.
Yeah, that'd be perfect.
Oh my God.
Speaking of Zlatan, we can move over to the La Liga's roundup.
Yes, we can. Yes, we can.
So before I start, Blake, there is one that you will have to read.
Okay.
So look ahead now and get into character. It is the third bullet down. Don't say it out loud. I'll continue on this, but that's the one that you're going to have to read. And let me know if you don't get the reference of where it's going.
The third one.
The third one.
It talks about a company. It's the
Correct.
sponsor. Okay.
Correct. So, well, talking about Zlatan, so we might as well stick with the Serie A where he's currently playing. Both Milans are currently holding the top 2 spots in the Serie A, with AC Milan in first on 28 points and Inter Milan sitting on 27 points. Juventus currently hold the 3rd spot on 27 points, but have already played and won their match this week during match week 13 in the Serie A. Both Milan clubs, along with Roma in 4th, Napoli in 5th, and Sassuolo sitting in 6th, are kicking off tomorrow, with the best of the matches being first place AC Milan taking on 6th place Sassuolo, who have been a very difficult side this year and have been testy, and hasn't caused too much trouble to those top teams, but enough to make you worry when you play them.
I think it's going to cause more havoc toward the end of the season, because
very possibly, yes.
Right now, if you draw or lose to them, it's not that big a deal. You have a long season to go, but later it's going to stack up when, that team has been screwing everybody all season long.
Correct.
I am still trying to read this third thing Ferris put up, trying to figure out what reference he's going for. It's on the tip of my tongue, but I can't
quite all right. No, don't worry. I'll send it to you. So far it is big name players like Zlatan, Romelu Lukaku, Cristiano Ronaldo, who lead the league in goals. No surprising because they're kind of the top three teams there. All have 10 goals so far, but it is, of course, the man, the myth, the legend, Zlatan, who has scored that amount in only 6 games compared to Ronaldo, who's played 9, and Lukaku, who's played 11. At 39 years young, Zlatan will Zlatan not only win the I have no clue how to say what their golden boot is called, but the Capocannoniere, but also the long forgotten, back since 2011 to be exact, Scudetto with his AC Milan side.
I don't know. I think he can do it. I think he could.
That's a long year, and he is.
Yep.
He is the point on the pyramid when it comes to that AC Milan side, and I don't know if he can completely hold them through all of it with the likes of Inter and
I've heard
Juventus and
the spear as a weapon, but you said point of the pyramid, and here's my problem with you saying that.
Okay.
Ron and I, earlier in our entertainment careers, worked at Renaissance fairs where they sometimes do torture museums. So you use point of a pyramid as a weapon, and my brain went to those torture chairs from medieval and Renaissance that were a pyramid that you sat on, and the thing went up your butt as you just sat there in the Spanish Inquisition getting pyramided. So thank you for putting that in my brain today, saying he was the tip of the pyramid.
We will explain that further in our historical tortures podcast.
There we go. I was off. I was actually trying to make your reference, by the way, that's coming up from the show, the movie 300. I thought it was Tonight We Dine in Hell, Sparta thing.
Yeah, no, you definitely have seen that one and the reference to it. Would you like to go now, or do you want some more time to research and get into
I think I got to research to get in character on that one. Hold
okay.
on, just a little bit.
We'll move over to the German Bundesliga. Bayern Munich sit atop the Bundesliga table after defeating the number 2 team in the land today, as they beat Bayern Leverkusen via a last-minute goal in the 93rd minute by no other than a recently announced winner of the best FIFA men's player, Robert Lewandowski. Midweek, Lewandowski beat out Cristiano Ronaldo and Lionel Messi to earn this award, which was changed not too long ago, back in 2006, from the FIFA World Player of the Year award. So Lewandowski, boatload of goals, won the Bundesliga, won the Champions League with his side. Absolutely deserving of that award. And the funniest thing was, I don't know if you guys saw this, the ceremony for that award was done in kind of a COVID safe way, where the presenters are on stage and they have these big screens showing Ronaldo and Messi and Lewandowski on their own feeds at home. And when Lewandowski's name was announced, the face of Cristiano Ronaldo was like, "You have to be kidding me."
Yeah, it was too.
It
great.
was like, are you serious right now? Like, I'm the best player in the world, and especially in this realm. And it was hysterical. It was
fun to see the utter dejection / disgust that Cristiano Ronaldo flashed across his face. But really,
awesome.
do we have any real doubts that Bayern Munich is, not the team to beat across the whole of the world right now?
Yeah.
Well, I heard somebody say this the other day, and I don't remember if it was on Counterattack or one of the Talk Sports shows on SM, but I don't remember who said it, so I apologize, but somebody was saying there's no great teams out there right now. There's good teams, and there's very good teams. There's no great teams. Like, Liverpool was a great team last year. Bayern Munich was a great team last year. You don't really see that so far this year. There hasn't been any one team across any league that has been massively outstanding. And the league showed this. Like, we'll wait till we get over to La Liga and who's 1 through 6 there. It's a kind of a very weird year. And I'm wondering, does that have to do with a lot of teams still not having fans in the stadium? How much that can impact teams, and how much now you're just playing in a stadium? Yeah, you can play on your home field still, but you don't have that home backing anymore. So I wonder if that's playing any sort of effect and kind of evening the game out a bit across all of Europe and
I
the
think even if it
U.S. and
doesn't
so on.
necessarily even it out in the sense of it feels like a neutral location, I just think, much as we all are experiencing, things are just different and weird, and you've discovered that creeps into every aspect of your life, whatever that is, whether it's a conversation with a stranger at a grocery store you're checking out, or like, it's, so I think on a macro scale, that's where things, you know, we talk about the Premier League season being weird, even kind of the MLS. Well, obviously you're winning the league with 47 points. That's so low. But it's just weird, man. So I think it means that all their games are going to be weird because everybody's just dealing with weird stuff, and it's so odd. And of course, I mean, I think it just puts you in a position where these games are going to be, you know, yes, I guess on paper you could say it evens it out in terms of like home field or no home field advantage, but it feels like that's not specific enough. It's more of like a general sort of nothing feels normal. Nothing feels normal. So it's all kind of weird, you know? And I think that gets to everything.
Yeah, I agree. Over, well, not quite over there because we forgot to mention some news in the Bundesliga. RB Leipzig currently sit in third while struggling. Borussia Dortmund currently sit in fourth, only 1 point ahead of FC Berlin, who today beat Dortmund 2-1. And this all follows the sacking about a week or so back that Dortmund sacked or mutually departed ways, or what Ron, what's the term you use?
Consciously uncoupled.
There you go.
Exactly. Of their manager, Lucien Favre, back on December 13th following a 5-1 smashing at the hands of seventh-place team VfB Stuttgart.
How is the coverage you're considering on ESPN Plus right now for Bundesliga?
I think it's good. Yeah. It's they essentially pick up the same feed as what Fox was. I will say I liked Fox's coverage of like their studio stuff. Yeah, a little bit better. I think ESPN has a lot going on. It's covered by the ESPN FC crew, which they do an awesome job, and I listen to their podcasts all the time. But I do like a little of the small things that the Fox coverage, but it's not bad. It's good. Yeah. Yeah. And to this date, Dortmund have yet to name a permanent manager, so see if they get one for the end of the year. And then switching over to La Liga, it is currently Madrid, Atletico Madrid, that is, who is sitting atop on 29 points with 3 games in hand over second-place club Real Sociedad, who are currently sitting in second on 26 points. However, it is the other Madrid, Real Madrid, who could be sitting in second if they are to win their game tomorrow against mid-table Eibar. And you only have to go a little bit of ways down to a Europa League qualifying fifth before you get to Barcelona. While the league is still a long ways away from being complete this season, the Liga is shaping up to be one of the most interesting in years.
I'd love to see Barcelona in the friggin' Europa.
Wouldn't that be great? I don't think they're going to end up there, but that'd be awesome.
They're definitely having some for sure.
That would be amazing.
That would be awesome. That would be awesome. I don't think it's going to happen, but you're in a league where the top 2 teams have dominated that league for years, and now you have Real Sociedad up there. Atletico Madrid was always in there, but you have some interesting teams that who knows how it's going to end. Should be interesting.
Barcelona would get into Europa and then lose their first match playing their 18-year-olds and under. They'd be so pissed off at being there.
Yeah.
You
can't count on any sort of quality from Barcelona right now.
You mean to go to France now, Ferris?
Take it away.
I'm going to try. These are not 2 impressions I've ever done before. Here we go. Lyon, yes. Olympic Lyonnais is currently sitting in first place of the infamous League One of Uber Eats French League as the 19th of December in the year 2020. Tonight, Lyon will be eating at the top of the table on a plus 17 goal difference, no PSG. Tonight, PSG will be eating third place behind Lille. I always say it wrong. With a game tomorrow. Who will be League One Uber Eats, Daddy? What did you say? What do you mean? What did I say? Did you say Daddy? I had forgotten about the Mark Hamill and Patrick Stewart commercial.
I don't.
Those
I
were
have to go watch it. I don't.
Go watch
Go
it.
watch them with a tomato. Like
No tomato.
It's like two guys that have done a ton of voiceover work throughout the years. With
it's Mark Hamill and Patrick Stewart, and they come out in this like warehouse battle scene.
Like they got baseball bats, like they're gonna fight.
Yeah, it's great. So every time I see what the French league's name is, I think of that commercial. So I was like, how can I implement that into
Mark Hamill on the top of everyone's tongues today because of all the
TV
show stuff. Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, all the Mando stuff. That was a hell of a season.
Yeah, it was. Can we talk about that instead of Arsenal? I'd rather talk about Mandalorian instead of Arsenal.
Yes, we can do another
all day long
podcast about that. It's been great. But yeah, Ron, you definitely have to go and when you're done with this, Google that Uber Eats commercial that is showing a lot over here in the States. It's
okay.
I love
it. Hysterical.
I love how Patrick Stewart is. You know what? I just started over Star Trek Next Generation yesterday, so it was appropriate that you did that.
Hey, you're welcome.
Hey, thank you. I forgot.
I had a feeling that was the case.
Of a jerk Patrick Stewart is at first in the beginning of that show.
Well, I wanted you to read that because you do better acting and narrate better than I do, but you also have that heard him there with Mark Hamill and Patrick Stewart. That
look, man, I peaked on this show when the Cherries beat Chelsea. The Blue Devil went down to Georgia. Do you remember that one? I peaked on this show. That was like I was cleaning my office and I found that hand scratch lyric where I was watching the game with my wife and started going and started writing really fast, going like I was like, I had this idea, I got an idea.
Oh, that's great.
So that's France. It's behind Lille. Lille. Dang it, see. If it was one L, it's Lille, right? But it's Lille because it's two L's.
I have no clue on the French.
I took a semester of French. I don't remember it. If we'd covered the Japanese league, I could say all those names. I can't do French. I'm terrible. Terrible at Romance languages. English is hard enough. Is that
I think that's
what's that?
What, Ron?
It's on the lead, isn't it?
I don't know.
And he's gone.
You disappeared for a hot second on us. And you're back with your silly hat.
Saying that's all for the
Ron, it's because Ron started talking about that Tabao or whatever website earlier, and now his internet is getting flagged.
Talked bad about a Chinese website. Look what happens.
And now we're getting the exclamation point of FaceTime.
Or it's that rod in his hat that is like interfering with the signal.
That's what it is.
Because it's like 5 feet too long.
It's the wire in the 5 foot tall elf hat.
Mm-hmm.
I think Ron's going to hang up and rejoin us. So that's France. That's pretty much where we are. PSG isn't.
That's the La Liga's roundup.
PSG isn't, and then Milan, right? We got to go over.
Yeah. So your leaders are Bayern, Atletico Madrid, Olympic Lyonnais for right now, and AC Milan for right now. But all of them, just like the Premier League, that like top six or like the Premier League's top 10's close. The other leagues' top six right now, they're all pretty darn close. So all of the leagues across Europe are definitely interesting.
Did we get you back, Ron?
Yeah, I'm here.
We got you. I can hear you now. We were saying it was the wire that was in your 5 foot tall elf hat is causing a bad reception.
Yeah, exactly. Allow myself.
Now he's popping in and out again. It is your elf hat. I'm not a dentist. I'm a Radio Shack head. That was perfect. Because what Ron wanted to say, what he did say was a dentist, but you cut out at the word dentist, so all we got was
Oh man!
Now I just want to go make an air horn out of Ron's
Yes, please do it.
Yeah, I've been relaxed about it. I need to get an air horn on here. I don't have enough fun stuff on here yet, and I need to get that. I need to get that solidified because, my God, there's a bunch of good ones on here that I forget about using. My little cheat sheet. Does that wrap us up for the soccer, y'all? Is that everything?
I believe it does.
I think so.
Well, yeah, that's it. A lot's happened. We just kicked off the festive fixtures, so we've got 30 some matches left to go until January 4th, something like that, somewhere in there.
30 or 40.
It was 40, but we've already gone through some today. So we got like it was 40 fixtures. This holiday beer, this Southern Tier 2 times Christmas ale, y'all get on it.
This Cuddly Chupacabra, Blake, you would love this.
I can't wait to try that.
Ron, I don't think we know what your thoughts are on sours, so.
I used to not like sours either, but now, man, I'm becoming a fan.
We're making some good ones.
That Whistling Bird Berliner Weiss from Sun Creek, that'd get you going.
Real nice.
Well, as always, terrible. Oh, no, it's not terrible. It's so good. You can check us out on the brutifulgame.com. Find us on Facebook. Find us on the Twitter. Find us on Untapped so we can follow each other and discover tons of crazy beers, especially when Ron's gone off on the 12 days of Christmas beer drinking at different apartments and stuff. That was pretty fun. Yeah. That was a pretty fun story.
I'm also going to South China over Christmas to a area called Guilin, and I'll be doing a bunch of hiking and, vacationing. But a lot of beers will be thrown up during that time onto the Untapped. So feel free to check it out.
And you end up also putting them, sharing them as stories too on Instagram a lot of time.
Of course.
So I don't think I listed Instagram as one on there as well. So make sure to follow us on Instagram as well. Is that everything? Is that all the stuff, gents?
I think so.
All right. Well, I was trying to find a good Christmas dad joke, but I couldn't really find one that I thought would slay you all. Ferris is not even looking at the camera.
No, I heard what you said. I was just not paying attention or cared at that point.
What's the difference between...
It was a valiant effort.
What's the difference between the regular alphabet and the Christmas alphabet? It's just one letter off. It's only 25 in the Christmas alphabet because there's no L.
I need another beer.
But wait. Christmas only comes once a year. Wait. Here's one for you. How did Darth Vader know what Luke got him for Christmas? I feel your presence.
That was so lame.
Do 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 do.
Cut us off here. Do whatever. Oh my god.
That would make me happy.
Another beer opened up. Here we go.
All right. Well, beers up, gentlemen. Love the beers. Cherish the game. The Brutiful Game. Flange.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Happy holidays.
Merry Christmas to everybody out there.